Hi, I'm Linda Pennington, a registered dietitian with Dietitian Associates Incorporated. We have partnered with Henry County Medical Center to expand access to nutrition services from a registered dietitian through a telehealth platform. A registered dietitian has the educational background, a bachelor's degree or higher, and the experience to assess and counsel people on nutrition for both maintaining health and managing health issues. So November is National Diabetes Month, and I've been asked to share some tips on managing diabetes during the holidays. Did you know that 49%, which is nearly half, of people living with type 2 diabetes report that managing their condition through a typical fall and winter holiday season is more difficult than at other times of the year? And this was a survey done in 2021 by the American Heart Association and the American Diabetes Association. So, yeah, holidays are a tough time to eat healthy for anyone, but especially people on a carbohydrate-controlled diet. So the following 6 tips are targeted at persons with diabetes, but actually can be beneficial to persons who do not have diabetes. So let's get started. The first tip, keep a regular eating schedule. I know this might sound impossible, but hear me out. A person with diabetes should try to eat as close as possible to their regular meal times to keep their blood glucose levels stable. Well, that's sometimes challenging when your family or friends have their Thanksgiving meal at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So what do? In that case, you eat a snack at your regular meal time and eat a little less at the Thanksgiving meal. And definitely speak with your diabetes care provider before the holiday so you can best plan on how to handle mealtime changes throughout the holiday season, because Thanksgiving is just the beginning, as we know. Second tip, watch your carbohydrates. Well, that's all well and good, but off the top of my head, I can think of many Southern favorites at a Thanksgiving meal that are high in carbs, and I bet you can too. Cornbread dressing, sweet potato casserole, mashed potatoes, corn, English peas, macaroni and cheese, not to mention the desserts. So what's somebody to do? Well, there are a couple of strategies that come to mind. One strategy is to make half of your plate non-starchy vegetables. So non-starchy vegetables, quick reminder, these include, but not limited to, broccoli, green beans, greens, so turnip, collard, or mustard, cabbage, spinach, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, and even tossed salad. So by doing this, you limit the amount of starchy foods you have on your plate, unless you mound them up, and don't do that. So let me show you what I mean. I typically encourage my clients during the rest of the year to eat on a 9-inch plate. And this is often called a luncheon plate. It's probably a little bit bigger than most people's salad plates at home with your dishes. But this is Thanksgiving, and I am well aware that no one's going to eat on a 9-inch plate during Thanksgiving. So I'm demonstrating with a regular plate size. So, regular plate. Here's some broccoli. Here are some green beans. And here are some greens. They take up half the plate. All right. So you see that truly limits the amount of other stuff you can put. So another strategy is to practice portion control. Eat less than you might normally eat of your favorite foods so that you still enjoy them. Remember, you don't have to eat everything that's offered. Focus on dishes that are more special or that you only get at the holidays, because most families, there's something we only fix at Thanksgiving or Christmas, so it is very special. Maybe skip the macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes, we can get those other times of the year, and eat a small serving of your grandmother's sweet potato casserole or so-and-so's pumpkin pie. And if you want a dessert, then we encourage you to cut back on the amount of carbohydrate-rich foods at the dinner meal. Just grab a thin slice of cake or pie. And many references report that pumpkin pie has less carbs than pecan pie. And if you've ever made a pecan pie, I think you'll agree. So what if you're hosting a holiday meal and you don't have diabetes? Well, you may want to consider providing extra low carbohydrate vegetables for your guest, especially if you know someone who is attending does have diabetes. You know, oven roasting non-starchy vegetables like asparagus and Brussels sprouts are really quite tasty, and they're a very low carb side dish. And even for people without diabetes, it is such a welcome change of pace from the heavy side dishes that we typically have at a holiday meal. Third tip, don't skip meals. So this is kind of related to the first tip. You may be tempted to skip a meal and kind of save up, but it can backfire by making your blood glucose harder to manage and potentially causing you to overeat due to hunger. It's very hard to make a wise food choice when you are hungry or hangry. Fourth, offer yourself grace for slipping up. None of us is perfect, so please don't judge yourself too harshly for indulging in the holiday by eating more carbs than you normally would. Just focus on getting back on track. This means making healthy choices between holiday gatherings. Remember, Thanksgiving is one day, not a week-long free-for-all. There's typically a month between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so except for a few parties here and there, you should be back on a routine carb-controlled diet between the holidays. If you take a month-and-a-half break between Thanksgiving and New Year's, you're at risk of very high glucoses and all the health ramifications that come from that. Fifth tip, eat slower. By eating slower, you allow your brain to catch up with knowing you are full. It typically takes about 20 minutes for your brain to know you're full. So some people suggest start with the protein and the vegetables on your plate. So by the time you get to the starchy foods, you're already starting to feel full. And this will help us not go straight to the dessert and helps us practice portion control with the desserts. You might recall a time when you ate a meal maybe quickly and then you decided, you know, it was just so good, I think I'll go have seconds or I'll pounce onto the dessert table. Then you get the signal, oh, I'm full. You're still eating. And then you get the signal, ooh, I'm really too full. I'm kind of miserable. And that's not a pleasant way to spend the evening or the afternoon. So the final tip is to be physically active. So with food being the center of Thanksgiving, most of us forget to move around. Then if we overeat, we tend to feel like we're in a little food coma and we can't hardly stay awake, much less move. So how many of you have family members who literally fall asleep in the recliner after the meal on the pretext that they're watching football? I bet most families do. So maybe start a new tradition of taking a walk after your holiday meal. My mother is usually the one that rallies us all outside, and I have to say, you feel so much better and thankful to be outside, enjoying nature, and walking off some of that Thanksgiving meal. I want to close with wishing you all a safe and happy Thanksgiving. For our healthy, diabetes-friendly recipe ideas, please see the links posted to Facebook. Thank you.